Hey everybody. Here we are. It's day I don't remember of quarantine. Um, we are allowed to go outside and exercise here in Chicago, but the weather has been awful, and there hasn't really been any time to go and sit outside. So the sun is out, and I have some conceptual art and sketching that needs to get done. So I figured, why not draw outside and have you come with me? So let's go. When starting my any sort of design, I do like to start out with some sort of grid. So sorry, it's very bright. Oh, hello. My wife is joining me outside in the sun. Okay, so I don't know where this is going. I just know that I need spaceship designs. I need designs for this project. I'd like to have at least some of my designs thought out. So I'm just making shapes right now. And this grid is kind of helping me get there. It doesn't have to be perfect. I already know that I don't like this, but we're gonna keep going. So I'm kind of building my makeshift grid as I travel outward. And I want to go epic here, and right now it's too boxy for epic. So now I'm just playing with shapes here. And I like that a little better. I'm still trying to figure out the tone of this ship and what I want it to look like. Now, I really like this front part, this downward part here. And I like the way it comes back here, but these shapes over here are fighting with this shape over here, so I need to keep that in mind as I move forward with this design. Now, so this is enough for me to start inking. This is not a finished product page. This is something I'm just searching here. I'm on a journey. I'm trying to find out what is going to work and what is not. I'm not going to be afraid of being loose here at all. I like this, but I don't know if a tube-like shape is what we want, but it kind of makes me think of a human rib cage. So I'm just kind of following where the sketch is taking me. And as you all know, there have been many spaceship designs in the history of science fiction. So anything that I can do to try and bring out something new, a new shape, a new way of being. Way of being. Oh my gosh, I sound like such a dick. Sorry. I like this. it kind of makes me think of like, yeah, like, you know, some sort of like spaceship rib cage or something. So one nice thing about this Pentel is I can get really nitty gritty with the details. I'm going to turn the sketchbook around just so it's easier for me to ink in a straight line here. I also usually like to add some actual space just to give me an idea of how it will look on black with a completely black background. It also allows for me to try crazy things that might not necessarily work, so I hate that. So we'll definitely get rid of that. So comics can be pretty much a big grind. So any chance that I get to take it easy and just kind of, you know, find a chill way of drawing, I take it, and this is one of those ways for me. Drawing in a sketchbook is really healthy for my mental energy, and especially with concept art, I try and just free myself from what my expectations are and just go. So I'm not convinced that I need this little fin here. I think the shape is stronger. Yep, I was right. So I really like that, actually. It doesn't happen all that often in my designs. Maybe it's because I'm under the pressure of the camera. So again, we've got our guide. We will go over how to do this in a different video. But honestly, I'm trying to figure out how to break it down and make it as accessible as possible for everyone. So kind of like taking notes on what I wish someone had taught me about perspective when I was struggling. I taught a lot of it to myself. Sorry about the wind. Now, the Micron is just a way for me to get kind of nitty-gritty with the details, get a sense of scale. Got this rib cage thing here. Now, I don't have a whiteout pen, otherwise I might, go back into it. But another thing with whiteout pens is they don't do great with watercolors, and there's a good chance, especially when creating concept art for a new book, that I will try and bring some color out and get an idea. But I really like how this is turning out. Okay, so we may go back and watercolor this a few minutes later. Maybe inside we'll take a video of that. Very simple process, nothing too intense. But now I really like the way that this looks. Sorry, just a post office truck driving by. But I want to know what it's going to look like from the top. So I see there's like this shape here, and I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just gonna try and do a top-down view here. This is literally just like shape, just a shape, like a silhouette almost. This is just what I'm seeing. Somebody is cutting their hedges, I believe. Sorry about that. Well, that's not bad. That's cool. I like that. So this would just means that there would be some sort of like mechanical trail that would come along here. And then let's just try and draw it from the front. Now, I won't necessarily do this every time, because honestly, there's just not enough time in the day, and most of the time I'll figure out, if I like the way it looks like this, I'll just figure it out on the page. But I'm here, so this is okay from the front. It's actually not bad. It does kind of resemble an insect here from the front, which I think is pretty cool. Okay, so we've done one. Now let's just experiment, play with some shapes. So here we go. Just doing some silhouette studies. I don't dislike that. I know that I really want this to be like a turret-based thing, so we're gonna add some turrets here. Again, just searching, no pencil, nothing. This is just this is not coming out very good. This needs something, so we're just gonna start adding blocks. I'm almost like blurring my eyes right now. Nope. This one might be a scrap, and that's fine. I like this enough that I'm just going to try and do a sketch from the back, kind of facing away, just to, Not great. I like this silhouette though. Let's start. Nope. Well, this part isn't going too well. That's fine. Another idea when you're getting stuck on designs is to try and draw something again from the top down. So instead of starting with a profile, like I have done, I was thinking of a top-down kind of thing. So kind of the same family as this one, but that's not bad. You know, that could be like a different kind of class or a, you know, different category. So, I'm a big fan of things sticking out from ships in awkward ways. Anything to make it look not like a block. Okay. So we have about 17 minutes here of just sketching a little bit, finding some new shapes. And I'd say that this is mostly a failure on this page here, but I really like this idea, this like claw, like rib cage idea, which I can't wait to expand upon. And that was just from fooling around. So when we come back, we'll be doing a little bit of watercolor and maybe a little bit of gouache on top to try and bring out some more shapes. And that'll wrap it up. Okay, so we're at the dining room table right now. And got my sketch here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some time to block in the background space a little bit more. So it's now relatively late at night, maybe about 9 o'clock. Oh, maybe not that late, but okay. So I have a nice background. Now I erased the pencil because, you know, it's going to kind of muddy up the watercolors if I leave the pencil in there. Also, I'm not sure how transparent I'm going to get with these watercolors. So here I've got some Dave Smith watercolors, I believe they're called. It's in a Schmink container, but I jerry-rigged the container so it could fit a little bit more. I'm going to start with straight watercolor just because I don't want to lose any of these lines that I've not worked so hard for, but happy accidents. I don't want to lose my happy accidents. So I use these Moleskine sketchbooks because they really do handle water pretty well. But I have a little paper towel right next to me. So I'm just going to start off with a gray. Again, this is nothing fancy, just a wash. Cool gray. So, it stays completely transparent. Now I do have a lot of gouache here. And gouache is for when I want to take things a little more opaque. So little by little, maybe building up the shapes just a tiny bit. But we'll start by just adding a little more shadow here. Again, I don't really know what I'm doing. I was kind of going for a rust color, but that doesn't look terrible. So, you know, that did not take a lot. I'm going to close up the watercolor now. And and bring out the gouache. So I have some grayish gouache here that I'm reactivating. Just gonna see. So the reason that I love gouache is it really does work a lot like watercolor, but it is very opaque, especially if you buy high quality gouache. You see how I'm able to kind of build out some more shapes here. Now, you know, I mentioned earlier that I love turrets on spaceships. Turrets that I can see. So, I don't know if this will work, but I can just paint over it if it doesn't. I really want a turret right here. Why not? You know? Maybe a turret. Circular turret inside there. That turret might, on the top, might not work at all, but we'll try it for now and see. Need some more white in here to keep that opaqueness. So you'll notice that gouache will... One thing about gouache that takes getting used to is it dries darker than you think it will, and the darks don't dry as dark, and the lights don't dry as light. So at first it really frustrated me, but I've learned to kind of figure out how to work with it. Things are not quite opaque enough, so I'm going to take some permanent white here, because white is the most opaque of colors when it comes to gouache. It just makes things really opaque. It's tough. Sometimes you really have to get a good balance between your gouache and water. You know, too much water and it'll be too transparent. Too little water and it'll be like drawing with painting with no life to the brush. Alright, I think we can maybe get a little, leave the building out for a little bit, maybe build to this. So gouache will go over your black lines, or we'll go over my black lines, so I want to be relatively careful that I don't, or that I'm at least careful. There are plenty of illustrators that will, you know, just use these black lines as like a starting point, but I like keeping them. Now we're going to add just some straight white and see if we can get some Just adding some highlights here. You notice how that line I laid up basically just disappeared, so it is a bit more of a noodly kind of medium. Definitely more noodly than I'm used to. I'm used to, working with ink where it's just there, it just is what it looks like. But I'm trying to branch out a little bit, so I think this looks really cool. My only thing is I really want some color. So I'm going to see if I can make this top part red here. And I want to make this red as well. This looks pretty cool. Now that looks a little too clean just by itself, so we're going to kind of go back in just a little bit and muddy it up. So it's disappearing on me, so I know I need a little more opacity. So sometimes when I'm doing sketches like this, things will get a little wobbly, so the ship is doing a little bit of this. It's kind of bendy, which I don't love. So I'll go like that and see what part of those shapes do I need to kind of straighten out just to make it look just a little more uniform. looking better, but I'm going to do that top part to really hammer home that silhouette. We'll get into this more in perspective and background drawing later on, but I get a lot of questions if like I use a ruler and how often and for what. And the short answer is yes, I do use a ruler, but not for everything. Obviously not for a sketchbook drawing. But if there are these, there's some lines in drawing, or in like a background drawing or illustration that I call important lines. Very technical. And I use a ruler for those. And this would be one of those times. Or if I had a ruler, I would be using it. Because to avoid that kind of weird bendiness, you just have to... I'm able to kind of see it now, but I wish I had seen it earlier. Okay. So you'll notice that I had to kind of pick up the drawing and pick up the painting, I mean. Sorry, I'm bad at talking and painting. Because it kept picking up the red underneath. That's something that will happen with gouache. It will pick up what's underneath it. I love the immediacy of it. I love how you can just lay down quick layer upon quick layer. But as you go up in layers, the layers need to be thinner and thinner and thicker, so you don't pick up the water-based pigment underneath. So the highlights on this turret are being pretty difficult. So what I'm going to do is, instead of working on the highlights anymore, I'm going to bring out some of the darks. Stupid fruit fly. My whole house is infested with fruit flies. I promise we're not gross people, but we had some plumbing done on the house recently, and it's caused like sewage and drain flies to fly all over our house. So it's real pleasant. Add a little bit of red here. Getting close to being done. Now I want to add just a little bit of like engine light. I'm not sure if this is going to work, so might not work. If you guys think of a good name to call this ship, leave it in the comments. Maybe I'll use it. So because I use so much water on that bit of gouache, it's going to start sinking into the paper, and it's not going to pop out super well. So I'm going to keep an eye on that, make sure. And same with this turret. This turret does not want to. Oops. It's pretty awesome. Just to give it a little more space to breathe. So, nothing super fancy, just a fun little exercise, a way to keep it fun for me still, you know, coming up with new concepts and ideas. Sometimes I need, for lack of a better word, like a sketchbook win, where I just take a little bit more time to really try and make a drawing just pop just a little bit in my sketchbook, and it just makes me feel like investing more in it. So that was kind of the goal with this one. Again, not spending a ton of time, not worrying too much about the details, just trying to have fun. And there we go. So I hope you enjoyed that process. Nothing fancy. I encourage you to do that in your own sketchbooks. I feel really good after doing that drawing. Just a simple thing, but it really works. Helps boost the confidence. Don't be afraid to do that every once in a while if you can. Just draw something that you know you love and make it cool. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you wouldn't mind, and I'll see you next time. Hello everybody. We've been stuck inside in quarantine for a while, and it's a beautiful day, and somebody's now cutting down a tree, I guess. Hey everybody. No? Is that not good? Somebody still keeps cutting down a tree outside. You have a booger in your nose. Hey everybody. Oh my god. He keeps cutting the tree down. Oh. You're doing dishes now?
Pick some more.
Can you not? Can you stop? Oh, that's seriously obnoxious. Okay, are you gonna blow your nose now every like 5 seconds? The light is great.
Go to your lair if you need privacy, or just don't complain to me.
Hey everybody. Get alright, this is great.